Historically, Asia has been looked at as the other. The whole issue, I think, for the community is once you become a model minority, there's this difficulty which arises, which is, oh, you know, Asians don't really need help in America because they all get A pluses, they all take AP courses, and they're all going to the Ivy Leagues. So you get this complete wiping off the face of our American landscape of new immigrants from Asia who are struggling with language issues, who are struggling economically, having a very difficult time acculturating into American society. My mom is Korean Hawaiian, and then my dad was an Irish, English, Scotch, German immigrant. Being half Asian, growing up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, going to these bilingual schools, the whole concept of being the other all the time and looking for a sense of home or looking for a sense of place was a continual challenge. One place that I found a sense of belonging was at a martial arts dojo. At a certain point, my father said, oh, why don't you, try a dance class because you love the martial arts forms so much.
Someone like Dana, able to tell stories, not just his story. It's not about his background. It's about different ideas that he finds very, very important to talk about.
What ultimately I think inspires me is an interesting historic event and the ramifications of that event, whether it's Executive Order 9066, which interned the Japanese Americans on the West Coast during World War II, or whether it is about the first Korean diaspora into the Hawaiian plantations, or whether it's about Angel Island and the Chinese exclusionary acts of the late 1800s. There is an interesting story there that I become fascinated by, and I start thinking about all the visuals around those stories and all the personal histories as well.
When you first see Dana's work, it's very thought-provoking, so you appreciate the technical beauty of the dancers and the artistic beauty of the dancers and the choreography, but then you also get this other piece that makes you ask some questions, and I think that's really what Dana's trying to get at with his work. It's not just about dance as an art form, it's about dance as a medium for asking those important questions that we have in our society.
I'm a very lucid dreamer, so I start dreaming and waking up and having images and I write them down. And when I have enough images, I use them as a map and I go from image to image to image through dance phrases. And essentially I know in this mapping process where I want to start, what the middle is going to be, what the end is going to be, and then certain vignettes in between that. I think movement phrases are like sentences, and you build the sentence into a paragraph, and the paragraph into a chapter, and the chapter into a short story, and the short story can become the novel.
Dana's movement in general is a very specific type of movement that it takes a dancer almost a year to a year and a half to actually understand his movement and his concepts.
Everything is detailed because the audience can see everything that's on stage. That goes to specificity of finger placement and, and then hand positioning within cupping the palm or keeping the palm flat.
I mean, that's the amazing thing about dance training is that the muscle memory is so well developed. So if I say like, oh, your hand shouldn't be here, it should be here, then they can encode that and it'll always be there. That's a great gift as a choreographer to have a team of individuals that believe enough in your creative process to be open at every rehearsal and just move.
Most of our dancers really do stay with the company. We're kind of more of a family, and I think that that's why the company works so well.
With Dana, it's such a more nurturing environment. where he really, values each of us as artists, and we all have different cultural backgrounds, different artistic backgrounds, and he really embraces all of those.
The way that I originally started my professional dance company is I actually started years and years and years ago an Asian American youth program, and then the dancers got so good that we moved into a professional company.
I think one really exciting piece of the company is seeing the educational components, sort of taking that wonderful expression, sharing it with young people today, allowing them to move and express themselves, but also to ask those questions. Who are they? What kind of society do we live in today? And take it to the next level.
Do the pumpkin. It's spread out and do the pumpkin. Ready? Okay, go. And go. Okay. Okay. They love that. I really enjoy that age level because there is such an openness to creativity, but also intrinsically a questioning about their identity, about who they are, how they fit in society, where are they going in their future, how do they actualize as an American. Like, what is your cultural heritage?
I am half Filipino and my father is Austrian.
Okay.
One of the most important things about the project is bringing a cohort of young Asian Americans from different backgrounds together so that they feel a sense of belonging and they have their own community and they can celebrate what their identity is.
His work is so meaningful, and he takes this work not only to our community here in the greater DC area, but also overseas, and he is an ambassador of Americans and all over the world.
I want an audience to always come out of a theater better informed about the histories of a certain situation and people. I choose subject matters that, although they have specific historic references, the art form of contemporary dance is abstract enough that I can play with the images so that hopefully there are universal images that come out that anyone can relate to, whether that's about loss, whether that's about grief, whether it's about happiness, longing to belong. All of those things I think we experience in humanity.
Modern dance, we're all going to the same show. We all leave the show. We all have different ideas of what that show was, the pieces in it, or what have you, the costumes, what about the lighting. We all have something to say. So I just want people to come and just think.
Artists, they spend like their whole life's journey often making work over and over and over again, but just different entry points to the same subject matter.
All travelers in this world, the party will go until dawn.
I think I'll always be making work about trying to find a sense of place, and I'm very empathetic to anyone who's trying to belong, and I keep finding more and more stories that need to be interpreted and need to be danced out.